Hey everyone, Kelly Dean Allen here. Today going to show you guys how to play Love is a Long Road by one Mr. Tom Petty from his 1989 album Full Moon Fever, the B-side to Tom's mega hit Free Fallin'. Maybe you've heard this one before, and if you're under 40 years old or so, you've likely heard it in the new trailer for the yet-to-be-released Grand Theft Auto 6 video game. Figured that there might be more than a few people out there discovering or rediscovering this classic track from Tom Petty, so maybe a guitar tutorial is in order for this one, yeah? That said, let's get started, shall we? Alright, so we are in standard tuning for this tutorial. However, the studio version of this one is a little bit sharp of standard, so know that if you're trying to play along with the studio version of this one. It's not quite up a half step, it's just a touch sharp of standard. And so this track starts with piano, and this is kind of what the piano is doing. So I might as well show you that. Let's get just a touch more volume here. We're holding a little B5 chord here on the 9th fret of the D and the 11th fret of the G. We're going to strike that 9 times. And then we're going to back off to a little double stop here on the 7s of the D and the G. Hit that twice, and then back it off to an A major double stop here on the 7 of the D and the 6 of the G. And we're going to strike that one 5 times. And then we're going to move up to a double stop here, an E major double stop on the 9s of the D and the G. Strike that 9 times. And then back to this one again, right? The 7s of the D and the G off to the 7 and the 6. And you just repeat that twice. Like I said, that is piano, and when the guitars kick in, they kick in with, there's more than one guitar going on here, but they kick in with a B power chord. One guitar is hitting a B power chord, just like that, right? Another guitar is hitting a B sus, which is the B5 chord here, 2, 4, and 4, with the open B, open E. Full B sus chord, right? So one guitar is just hitting a power chord, just like that. The other guitar is hitting the full B sus. And then we're going to drop down to D into A, and just let those ring, right, into an E major, and let that ring. Back to D to A, repeat. D, A, E major, and then back to D, A. And then the vocals come in for the first verse. We're going to repeat that 2 more times, that pattern, but now we're going to kind of strum along on the chords. Not really strumming, right? You're just riding those chords. And now we're into the pre-chorus. We're going to drop into a G, full G, D, A, A, right? So that's the first half of the pre-chorus. G, D, A. Very quick kind of D to A, right? D, A, back to G. And then we're going to do 2 G's just on the top 4 strings. Bum, bum, D, D, A. Right? And that leads into the chorus. So that's the pre-chorus. G, D, A, G, 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 D, D, A. Right? G, G, D, D, A. And then we're into the chorus. And we're going to be repeating that 3 times. So we're dropping into this B5 chord, or 3-finger B power chord, right? Going to strike that like 4 or 5 times. And then we're going to go off to open D while still holding our pinky here on the 4. And then we're going to drop into an E power chord on the 2nd fret while still holding this 4 on the G, right? So you're going to strike that twice, the open D along with that 4th fret of the G. Strike it twice and then drop into the E power chord. And then we're going to do that. Open, while all the time holding our pinky there on the 4. Open, 2, 4, 2, off to open, right? And then drop right back into the B chord again. Off to open, drop back into the B, start the whole thing again, right? Repeat 3 times. And to finish the chorus, we're going to kind of repeat that same little pattern. Like that, right? Starting on the open D with our pinky there on the 4. And then you drop back into that B for a double hit. And that's the end of the chorus. So that's the chorus. And then we drop right back into the 2nd verse. D, A, E, D, A, B, D, A, E, D, A, up to G, D, A, G, 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 D, D, A, into the next chorus, right? That leads right into the solo. So the solo here, we're starting with unison bends on the, we're soloing in the key of B using the B minor pentatonic. We're starting with these unison bends here on the 14 of the high E and the 17 of the B. We're going to strike this, I think, 10 times. Right? Kind of in groups of 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then one more, right? And then you're going to drop it back to the natural note on the 17 of the B. Quick little 17 off to 15, and then grab the 16 of the G. Kind of like that, right after the unison bends. And then we're into this little blues lick. So we're bending, we're dropping into this position of the B minor pentatonic. We're going to bend that 9, ride down the 7s, and then 10 off to 7 of the B, and then just ride right up the 9s and 7s of the pentatonic, right? Just pulling those off, pulling off 9 to 7 of the G, 9 to 7 of the D, 9 to 7 of the A. And then kind of slide out of it, right? It's a very quick little lick. Something like that, right? And then we're back into more unison bends. 6 this time, 2 groups of 3. And then you're going to drop onto the 17 of the high E, pick it a bunch of times. Well, maybe 4 or 5 times, right? And then we're going to move it up to 19. Pick that 3 or 4 times, and then right at the very end of the solo, we're going to take that note on the 19 of the high E, give it a 1.5 bend. Right up to that pitch right there, and that's the end of the solo. So that is the solo right there. Actually, you're picking that 19 6 or 7 times, right? Before going into that 1.5 bend to end the solo. And then we drop back into the piano. For 1 repeat. 2 repeats actually, and then the guitars come back in. Just like the opening. D, A, and then we drop into the final verse. Which we've already learned. Pre-chorus, G, D, A, G, G, D, D, A. Very choppy, those chords, right? And then the and then the final chorus. Now, as the outro, we're just going to drop right back into that and keep repeating it. And it repeats, it goes on for like 30 or 40 seconds. There's a bit of an outro solo. He's not really doing much during the outro solo. Some unison bends here, starting on the 7 of the high E and the 10 of the B. You know, similar to what we were doing before, little groups of 3, right? He hangs on this one for quite some time. Then he moves it up here to 12 and 15. Hangs in that one for a couple of bars, and then he moves it up to the 14, 17. Right, and then he does a little play like this. You know, he bends that 17, drops his pinky on the 17 of the high E, just a little back and forth. Kind of like that, right? It's not really much of an outro solo, it's just lots of unison bends, right? Something like that, right? It's kind of incidental. It's not really, it's kind of playing in the background, right? Buried in the mix a little bit. And that's the whole song, right? And at the very end, right, because we're playing this. And the very, very end, we're going to do the little progression that we do at the end of the chorus. And then finish on that B power chord. End of track. And there you go. That is how you play Love is a Long Road by Tom Petty from Full Moon Fever. Certainly hope you enjoyed the tutorial, found it helpful, and if you did, please hit that like button right down there. Maybe drop me a subscribe if you haven't done that already, as that would be very kind. Hope you're well out there in your little guitar corner of the world, wherever that may find you these days, and we will see you next time. Cheers.